Hello and welcome. I'm Enigmius, and this is channel update number 6. For those of you who are newish to my channel, you've never seen one of these, this is something that I do from time to time whenever there's significant changes, usually additions, going on, so that people have an idea of what's going on and why, as opposed to things just changing randomly and what the hell is this. Now, I've got quite a lot to cover today, so I'm not going to go into tons of detail if I can avoid it on the first few bits. And then I kind of keep this under 10 minutes if I can. What you're seeing now is footage from the preliminary setup for our next project in Minecraft. I found a wintry... It took me 3 hours, I have to say. I was flying around trying to find a wintry biome, glacier, whatever I could find that was snow. 3 kilometers away from our central facility, I ended up in some places. And then I wound up finding this spot that was like 600 meters away. So at least I found it. It's good. I found it. This is going to be just a purely aesthetic build. I don't have any plans right now to put any machinery in it at all, which is not to say that we won't have any tech-related episodes between now and the end of time. It's just I don't have any immediate plans. So if I start doing the applied energistics storage system ever, that'll probably be an episode or two. I don't know when that would happen, but for the time being, this is what I know. We're going to build something out of ice. It's going to be awesome. And cloud. It's going to be built out of cloud as well. That's Minecraft. Just so you know, we're going to continue. I'm going to keep trying to get, episodes out every other day if I can, every second day if I have to, third day, whatever. Next up would be StarMade, I think, because they're similar. If you haven't seen my StarMade videos or haven't heard about StarMade, StarMade is a Minecraft-inspired voxel 3D space shooter sandbox game that's currently in development. It's in the pre-release stages. If you go to star-made.org, you'll be able to see you'll be able to download the client and play for free until the game is officially released. If you want to pre-purchase the game now, it's only like $6. So I've got about 2 more episodes left to do in that series to finish the ship that I'm building. That'll be one episode, and then to fly around and test it, that'll be the other episode. I don't expect to continue a series with StarMade. Based on what I've seen so far, I think StarMade is going to be an exceptional multiplayer game. If you're playing on a server, relatively busy server, that's well maintained, fantastic. There's a lot of opportunity for really entertaining stuff to happen based on what's already there. And then of course there's more to come. The game is already described as being, or planned on being, mod friendly. I don't really have any bad things to say about the game, except to say the single player element is pretty lacking right now. Like I say, it's pre-release, it's alpha. That's not to say anything about what it might be at official release. Just observing what I've seen up to this point, you can gather the resources, you can build the ships, you can build space stations, you can build so many different things, but then what do you do with it once you've got it? That's sort of the question that would have to be answered suitably before I would say that it's an engaging single-player game. So I can't play on multiplayer servers because I don't know anyone running a multiplayer server over which I would have influence to say, no, you can't reset it because you're mad that you blew up your favorite planet. I need my ships to stay where they are because I'm doing a series around this. So, and I have no interest in running a game server. That's just no. So definitely star-made.org. Look into it if that's your thing. You want to try Minecraft in space. Learning curve is there. There's definitely a learning curve, but you work through it and you benefit from it. So props to Schema and crew. Next up, I'm going to just talk about these both at the same time. Skyrim and Orcs Must Die 2. It was one afternoon and I wouldn't say I threw up my hands, and I definitely didn't throw up, but I kind of had to stop both of them. Orcs Must Die 2, in fairness, I wasn't unhappy with the game. I was finding that it was exhausting to produce the episodes because as we got closer to the last one in the vanilla series, right, the original offerings, they were getting more challenging, which from a gameplay point of view is fantastic. You can't criticize a game for getting more challenging as you get closer to the end. The whole idea is all the way up to that point, you've been learning and enhancing your skills, and you need that extra challenge to keep it interesting. What I was finding difficult is that every time I would have to restart the map because I wasn't able to 5-star because an orc got through or it took too long, I would have to restart the commentary as well. I don't know what people think of my commentary as a whole when I'm doing like live commentary, sort of let's play kind of stuff. It's very, very difficult to do. I find it very, very difficult. So as good or bad as you might think it is, imagine if I'm already exhausted when I start doing it. It's not going to work out, and it's not the kind of thing that I want to subject you guys to. So I had to stop, and I just haven't had time to get back into it because I know it's going to take a lot of time to get each episode out. Those Orcs Must Die too. Skyrim just plain pissed me off. I'm just going to say that. If you were watching my Skyrim series, you know that I'm not at all a fan of the control scheme for the Vampire Lord. The last episode that I tried recording was the one where I had to go in and recover the Moth Priest and bring him back to the castle. So in order to do that, I had to, seduce him and then bite him, and then he would follow us or give us the information or whatever the hell it was supposed to do. And I found myself for about half an hour, I was fighting more with the UI, trying to figure out how the hell I was supposed to do these things than I was playing the game. Now, those of you who played the Vampire, you could say, oh, it's stupid, all you had to do was this and this, it's so easy. Well, if you don't know, it's not so easy, and I wasn't in a position where I could tab out and look in the wiki because I was recording. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm not enjoying this because the UI is designed so poorly. It's like they tried to just jam it in there and make it work by any means necessary, and it's just awful. So, Skyrim was a great game when it launched, and it's still a great game, but the Dawnguard expansion, particularly with regards to being a Vampire Lord, is garbage. It is absolute garbage, and I will not do a series with the Dawnguard expansion ever. That's not to say that I won't pick up Skyrim again at some point in the future just for giggles, but what I would do in that case is I would go in beforehand, before I even thought about recording, and get through as far through the Dawnguard nonsense as I had to the point where I could get rid of the whole vampire thing, and then we would start out with like the Dragonborn DLC or something. Dawnguard, no, just crap. So that's unfortunately two games, two series had to go. One because it was awful, two because I didn't have the time. But we need to replace that because this is the gaming channel, and if I don't have at least one other game besides the flagship game, so to speak, if I do add another game later on, people give me shit saying it's a Minecraft channel, you can't play other games, and then they call me a jerk because I correct them when I say it's not a Minecraft channel, because I'm not allowed to correct people. So before we get to that point, there's two new editions on the way. One is Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition. This is a fantasy RPG, for those who are not familiar. It's recognized as one of the most challenging games to come out in recent years. Single player, although you can experience certain things if you're connected online. I won't be, because there's enough going on that I don't think it would be necessary. It's just griefing and watching other people's ghosts and stuff like that. The key thing that I had to research before I bought this game was whether the challenge came from low margin of error or if it came from random crap. Because I've played games before where the challenge, quotes, air quotes, challenge, came from random crap, that you could be doing fine, you could be doing everything right as best anyone could expect you to, and then all of a sudden, blam, you're dead because the move that you can't predict, and there's no way to predict it, there's no way to counter it, just except to not be in a certain spot, except you were, and blam, you're dead. Final Fantasy XI Online was good for that. It's garbage, and I don't like that. I didn't want to experience that as a challenge. So I did the homework. I found out it's all about the mob AI. It doesn't pull any punches. You have to pay attention. You have to see what's going on. You have to respond to it. You have to learn from your mistakes, and you have to just die a lot and move forward. So you say, what's different between this And for example, Orcs Must Die 2. You said Orcs Must Die 2 was challenging, it made you tired, and then you couldn't do it anymore. Why Dark Souls? Well, Dark Souls, I don't have a goal that I need to reach before I can put out a video. I can say, I'm going to sit down for 2 or 3 hours and play this game, record it with commentary, edit out the boring bits, and then present it to you guys as something that I'm happy to offer because I think it'll be entertaining. That's why. It's challenging, you'll be able to laugh at me. I know people who have played the game will see me making mistakes. Some of them will get very angry, their heads will explode, internets will be corrupted, it'll be awful, but that's the price that you pay when you buy a game and play it and put it online, and it contains the Prepare to Die edition in the title. So that's the one game. The other, some of you may have heard of this, most probably not, available November 15th, is the X Rebirth. If you're familiar with the X series, you know it's a space sandbox kind of game. You fly spaceships, you shoot at spaceships, you gather resources, you can build space stations, you can, control fleets of ships and transporters and fighters and capital ships and just ships in space. Sandbox. Fantastic. Very exciting. Released in 2006. And then every subsequent edition, and there's been many, was just built on top of the original, as the developers have, made very clear in the promotional material for this new game. And the end result is sort of a cult following. People have been following the game from the beginning, and every time they added something, it was just a little extra hump in the learning curve, and then add something else and it's a little hump. But then if you're a new player trying to get involved now, it's a wall of list menus, and it's just, the learning curve is almost unreasonable. I was able to get through it, so I can't say it's unreasonable, but I can see a lot of people who just want to fly around and shoot stuff in space could be really turned off, and their stated purpose, one of the things that they wanted to do when they started development on X Rebirth from the ground up was address that and not have it too many list menus, too complicated, too convoluted, too much stuff going on that isn't properly explained. I don't want to get into too much speculation in terms of exactly what we're going to find when we get into it, but just like Dark Souls, it's the kind of game where I'm hoping I'll be able to sit down and play for 2 or 3 hours, record it, edit it down, give you guys something entertaining to watch if you like the space pew-pew sandbox empire running kind of thing. I'm really looking forward to the game. The one thing that I looked at with Dark Souls and X Rebirth is not just does this look like it could be entertaining, but also based on my previous experience, does this look like something that I can hope to produce on a regular basis without having it turn into a really, really enormous time sink for very, very little return in terms of how many videos I'm able to offer you guys. And I'm pretty sure that I can manage it. The only way I'll know for sure is to try. So that's what I'm going to do. One last thing, very, very quickly, because I don't want this to go on much longer. I've replaced MSI Afterburner as my video recorder of choice. I'm not even using Fraps. I'm not using software at all for my video recording. I bought a video capture card so that the majority of the processing that's required to capture the image that's on your screen and put it into a video file format and store it is handled on the card instead of on my processor. It's made a dramatic difference in terms of the quality of the recordings that I'm able to make when I'm in a game that's high definition, good graphics, whatever, and I push the record button. I don't notice any change. I don't notice any reduction in frame rate, which is kind of the goal. So I'm hopeful that I'll be able to keep up a reasonable quality level in terms of just the visual appeal, the frame rates, and things of that nature with the new games. And that's where we're at. So Minecraft, Dark Souls, X Rebirth, all of them should be up and running, if they're not already, by the end of November. And then we'll go from there and see how you guys are liking it. So spread the word. Let your friends know. If you like my content, Reddit is just a really tiresome place to keep plugging away at this stuff. So if you want to let people know, that's fantastic. You can follow me on the Twitters at Enigmius1. You can also apparently now put my Google Plus thing in the circle. I've got my own URL, plus Enigmius1 at Google. It's not at google.com. You know what? Google Plus, it's a thing. I don't even know. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. Take care.